Hey everybody, welcome to Thoughts of a Free Man. I'm your host, Atticus Freeman, and today we're going to be covering a story that I think is pretty interesting. Might be a little controversial, but interesting nonetheless. So let's get right into it. So today we're going to be talking about the private membership association known as Return to the Land. And just for those who don't know what a private membership association is, let me enlighten you. So, a private membership association, also known as a PMA, is a group of individuals or businesses that come together for a common purpose, operating under their own internal rules and agreements, rather than being subject to external regulations. They are essentially exclusive clubs, that allow members to share resources, pursue common goals, and enjoy collective benefits, often operating in a private domain outside of the typical government oversight. So, so this group is they actually have 150 acres, I believe, 150 acres of land up in northeast Arkansas, and they're looking to get some land in Missouri. And essentially, this group they are trying to build a all white community, an all white collective, where um, only white individuals are allowed to live within the community. All right, so non-whites, non-Christian, and members of the LGBT plus community are not welcome. So you just pretty much got to be a white, heterosexual, white Christian person in order to be a part of their community. And essentially, what they're saying is they're doing this because they oppose mass immigration, multiculturalism, and forced integration. Um, and this group is just wild. Like, as I was reading and looking into this group, the things that they say and believe are crazy. They're out there, right? So Eric Orwell, I think that's his name, who is the co-founder of Return to the Land, in reference to America, the America of the 17th century, he stated, "I would probably feel more comfortable there because I'm white, and that is the way this country was when my ancestors came there." And so, good old Eric pretty much is just saying that, uh, he would feel more comfortable in the 17th century, right, the 1600s. He would feel more comfortable there than he would in current times because he's white. And, the country was white because that's how the country was when his ancestors got here. Never mind, Eric, that the Native Americans were here. And so this country was not white until your European ancestors got here and decided to pretty much whitewash this country. Um, and it like boggles my mind, right? Leaves me almost speechless because this organization is saying, right? They're starting this organization um, because they oppose mass immigration, multiculturalism, and forced integration, um, which is exactly what Europeans of the past and even now continue to do. Mass immigrations, like in masses, they immigrated to this country, um, to this land that is the that came to be known as the United States of America. Right? They fled from Europe um, in droves, in masses, as you might say. Right? Multiculturalism. Right? This country became, when they got here, it became a multicultural society because these Europeans, they didn't bring They didn't bring anything except for smallpox. Uh, and they got here and they would have died had it not been for the Native Americans. And so that is the whole Thanksgiving story, right? We all know about Thanksgiving, and that's pretty much what it is, right? The Pilgrims got here, and they would have died had they not uh, been saved by the Native Americans. And so now we have Thanksgiving because these Europeans were giving thanks that they did not die. Um, and that is, I mean, if that isn't multiculturalism, I don't know what it is, right? And then, of course, forced integration. Um, they forced these Native Americans, um, they forced themselves into society, right? Integrated themselves into this Native American society, and then eventually, like, took it over and pushed the Native Americans onto reservations. Um, but that's a different topic for a different day. And so this is just insane. This is insane. Like, this whole group uh, wants to build this all white societies because they're tired of all the things that are actually hallmark of European society, and the way that Europeans uh, have operated in the past. Right? They came to this country and then declared manifest destiny. Right? God told them to come here and then to take over the country. Right? To move west and pretty much tame the land. Um, so it's insane, right? Another thing that's kind of crazy is that this organization, claims to be not necessarily like a Christian based, but maybe a Christian led, a Christian society, right? Because one of the things is that if you are non Christian, you're not allowed in this society. So yeah, I guess it's safe. Well, it's not even an assumption. They're actually telling you that you have to be white, you have to be Christian, and you have to be heterosexual. So for all intents and purposes, this is a Christian community. Um, but what's interesting is that Jesus Christ, would not be welcomed in this community. Jesus Christ couldn't be there. Why? Because he wasn't white. Jesus was not white. No way, no way, no shape, no how was Jesus white. So he would not be welcomed in this community. Also, Jesus was not a Christian. You know, read your Bible, right? Jesus was not a Christian. When the Christian church was started and established, Christ was already gone. He'd already ascended up into heaven. If you do, if you are a member of the, I guess, if you follow, Christian Christian belief, right? Don't want to get too deep into religion. But if you are a Christian, you claim to be a Christian, then you know that when the Christian church was started, that Jesus was not here on earth. He had already ascended up into heaven. Um, so at no time was Jesus ever a Christian, so he would not be welcomed into the private membership association that is known as Return to the Land. And that is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But I think the next thing that really gets me is as I'm thinking, like, what would happen if individuals from the black community decided to create a black community, because a solely black or only black community, right? Because these individuals, like, we want to have a thriving all black community. I wonder what would happen. Well, unfortunately, right? One does not have to wonder too hard about that, right? Because history has shown us that when there are thriving black communities, they're either bombed, set on fire, or turned into lakes, right? For example, we have Greenwood, which was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is also known as Black Wall Street. They bombed it. They bombed it. They set the whole place on fire. Um, Rioted, killed black people. And then the white people that were, kind of, because it's in Tulsa, right? The white people that did all of that, uh, they were wearing, allegedly, of course I wasn't there, but the very next day, they were seen wearing the clothes of the black people that were rooted out of Tulsa, right, out of Greenwood after they set it on fire, right, which is ridiculous, right. There's also Rosewood, Florida, right. They set that place on fire, and then of course there is Oscarville, Georgia. Oh wait, there is no Oscarville, Georgia. It is actually now Lake Lanier. And so, as you can see, and these are just a few. These are like these. Just that's just three examples of what happened to thriving black communities in these United States, um, which is insane. It's insane, and it's insane that number one that this is even something that we're even talking about. Um, but it's insane when we're talking about this because um, there are white people with the audacity to say that we want all white community, um, which in itself, right, is fine. It's fine. You can have all white communities. There once upon a time, there were all white communities, right? Blacks were forced to be in their own communities, and then of course integration happened, which my personal opinion was, was a horrible idea. I guess I mean, the idea of integration is good, but the actual execution of integration in this country, I think, was horrible for the black community, because, like I said, we had Greenwood, right, and in Greenwood there were black doctors, black lawyers, black grocery store owners, black mechanics. Everything was black. Everything was black. Schools were black, teachers were black, milkman was black. Like everybody was black, right? And everybody, for the most part, I wasn't there, but I've been led to believe that everybody was quite happy, right? And there's a reason why it was called Black Wall Street. They were successful. This was a successful, thriving community, and white people did not like it. Did not like it. Did not like it. Could not stand it. Could not stand black excellence, which is a recurring theme even today. Uh, the hatred of black excellence, and so what happened? They literally bombed. They bombed this city, this town, um, for no other reason other than pure hatred of black excellence, right, and black people. And the same thing for Rosewood, and the same thing for Oscarville, Georgia, right? It's now Lake Lanier. If you go to the bottom of Lake Lanier, there are still the houses from this black community, right? They didn't even take the time to even tear down the houses. They just flooded. They just flooded it. They just flooded it, right? And that's hatred, like hate, 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 hate. Um, and so that's what happens, right? And that's what has happened when the black community has tried to be on its own, has tried to thrive on its own. And now all of a sudden, um, we now have these individuals, right, that are forming the private membership association, saying that they want to get away, because this country is broken. They want to kind of get back to the land, return to the land, and be in a society that the good old days, right? Um, and I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see um, how this works for them. Because now, granted, we do have modern conveniences, but when we go back to that time, ooh, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but these white people did not build society. They brought with them, they brought slaves. And so black hands made this country what it was and what it is today. And so these white people are returning to the land, but they are missing something, and that is the black hands that originally made this land prosperous, right? Um, so that'd be interesting. It's gonna be very interesting. Like I said, we do have modern conveniences that will um, probably be a little bit more helpful. So these white people will be able to be far more successful than their ancestors would have been back in the 17th century. Um, but I just wonder. I wonder, right? Like I said, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But I'm also for, you know, blacks. The black community establishing similar areas where we have all black communities. Now, I don't think that we should be out in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, middle of nowhere, Missouri, right? But there's plenty of land in Texas, plenty of land in the South, in Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, even Arkansas. Um, you know, that are a little bit less rural. But even if it was rural, because I'm just a firm believer that black excellence is always going to shine through, right? This country was built by black hands, um, so I mean we're naturally we're naturally builders, right? We're naturally creative, and so it would be interesting. I'm not here to try to I guess incite any kind of you know public upheaval. But I'm just simply saying, like, hey, these people with return to the land, excuse me, they might be onto something, right? White people can live where they want to live, and then everybody else, right? Like I said, I'm not against it because these people definitely should be out of society. Like, get them away from, you know, the rest of society, functional society. Let them be out in the woods. Let them do what they're gonna do. Yeah, let them do what they are wanting to do. Right? They want to be out there by themselves. Hey, let them be out there by themselves. Right? Um, and let the rest of functioning society, um, be great. Um, but also, I don't think that it would be a bad idea if, if the black community um, did something somewhat similar, not exactly similar, because these are nutcases, right? Let's just be clear. I don't know, that might be a little harsh, but it's also true, right? Not gonna, sorry, not sorry. These individuals they're out there, um, and that's fine, right? Because that's what America is all about, right? Um, you know, up until this point, they're not really hurting anybody. Um, they are, they have all of the rights and afforded to them by the Constitution for them to go out and do this. So, good luck, right? So it's not hurting anybody, as of right now. But I would just encourage, right? I would like to see what this would look like, with the black community doing this. So, you guys let me know. So that is the end of the show. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me as I rant about this topic. If you have any thoughts or any opinions, get with me on Instagram as well as Facebook. Right, Thoughts for Free Man. So once again, like I said, thanks for coming out. I am Atticus Freeman, and as always, freedom is for those who fight for it.